Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Devan. I am not Chinese, I'm Indian. These were the last recorded words of the young Anjel Chakma from Tripura, who died on the 26th of December after battling severe injuries. On the 9th of December, while he was simply buying vegetables in Dehradun, 6 youths allegedly attacked him after he objected to racial slurs. So far, 5 accused have been arrested. Police also say that one of the accused is from Nepal and another is from Manipur, and 2 of those taken into custody are juveniles. As of now, one remains on the run. Police have sent a team to Nepal to track him down and announced a reward of Rs 25,000. The medical report from the Graphic Era Hospital, where Anjel Chakma was undergoing treatment, confirms the severity of the assault. Chakma suffered major injuries, including trauma to the head, back and spine. With the gravity of the case now established, police have added murder charges, and significantly, those already in custody claim that the absconding accused was the one who carried out the stabbing. But what does this truly tell us about our own mental state in India? Take that conversation forward. With me on the broadcast is Oja Jamatia of the Tripura Students Forum, Hamiron Timung, President of the Northeast Cell of Hindu College, Hadungra Narzari, Northeast Representative of the Delhi Police, Spunner and President of ABSU, and Rahi Deka, Law Student at Amity University with us as well. Let me begin this conversation with Hamiron Timung. Hamiron Timung, I want to understand from you, when you first read the news of what's happened to Anjel Chakma, what was the thought that crossed your mind?
Well, thank you for inviting me to this timely discussion.
Hamiron, if I can just ask you to rotate your camera, please. Yes, that's fine. Please go ahead.
Okay, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this timely discussion. This news has put this northeastern community at large, particularly the students, at a very precarious position. It has yet again highlighted the lack of security and safety for students and the larger northeastern community who reside in metropolitan cities across the country. Personally, as a student studying in a Delhi college and also representing the northeastern student community of my college, I see this incident not as a isolated instance, but a part of a broader pattern. I'm sure most of us would agree that racism for us, those belonging from Northeast, is not an occasional, it is an everyday issue. However, I think that we don't talk much about racism in Indian media, except in cases of lethal violence, such that in the case of Anjel Chakma, perhaps it took a life away for us to, for it to become a part of a newsroom discussion.
And I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
But I can sympathize where you're coming from with that sentiment. And like I said, I am sorry for that it really took someone's life to bring us to this discussion and conversation that we should have just had long ago. Let me also bring in Rahi into the conversation. Rahi, I want to understand from you.
Okay,
The death of Anjel Chakma, what are the lessons that we now need to learn as a society? Because like I said, it's obnoxious that someone would be out buying vegetables and they would have to explain, I'm not Chinese, I'm Indian. Even if it's a Chinese person buying vegetables on an Indian road, we're not going to be we are not going to be stabbing them. That's really not the sort of society we want to be. But clearly we've shown that somewhere we are that society. So I want to understand from you, Rahi, what is it like for you as a northeastern person in parts other than Northeast India when you travel? If you can share perhaps with our viewers, and what are you hoping for the change in society?
Like many of us, I moved to Delhi with the same dreams of, uh, of growing and contributing to the capital of my country. But when we talk about racism in Delhi, it is not just something that is right in your face, but it begins with the simplest of the things, where you go to a vegetable vendor to buy vegetables, and that vegetable vendor or any other person standing nearby will mock your accent, and the constant staring. Often I wonder when my friends who are not from the northeast, they ask me this question, that why don't you guys mingle with others. And my answer is quite simple to that, is that how can you expect us to mingle with others when you are constantly felt like a museum exhibit. It's the constant stares, the constant glaring that make us feel so uncomfortable. So as a society, we need to change. There has to be there has to be awareness that we too are a part of this country, and we should not be treated differently. We belong to the same country. We have the same patriotic feelings, the same nationalist feelings towards our country. Then why are we always discriminated or looked with a very different lens? So as a society, we need to in a way sort of upgrade ourselves, and we need to understand that yes, northeast is equally a very relevant part of the country, and we too have contributed a lot to this country, and it's high time that we need to get that the recognition that we should have. So it is very unfortunate what happened, and it is high time that we need to realize that it is not just casual racism that has led to this. This is a very horrific hate crime. The death of Angel Chakma is not just a casual racism incident. It is a hate crime that has happened, and it should be taken seriously, and the ones who are accused, they should be punished. And
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right.
yeah.
It is a hate crime, and it has to be viewed as a hate crime. And like I said, someone who's just out minding their business should be allowed to mind their business. And I'm sorry, I feel so bad, Rahi, that you have to sit here and say that Northeast is a relevant part of India. It's India. It's a part of India. Whether it's relevant or it doesn't matter, and it should not matter, because people from other parts of India don't have to sit on television and say, oh, but we are a relevant part as well. So why should anybody from the Northeast be compelled to say that, to make that statement? But
Exactly.
I hear you tonight, and I hope India hears you as well. And unfortunately as it is, let Angel's case hopefully be the final lesson that we have to learn as far as racism in our country is concerned, as far as racial slurs are concerned, as far as hate crime is concerned. When did we become this society that just cannot coexist? What's happened to us? Oja Jamati, I want to take that question with you as well. What do you think has gone wrong, and how do we make things better from here? What do we do?
First of all, thank you so much. Anjel Chakma's case, to begin with, feels very close at home, being from Tripura myself and studying in Delhi. I recognize that everyday moment of prejudice, glance, assumption, and question that makes you feel like you don't quite belong to this country. This may seem small to others, but they quietly affect how safe and comfortable you are in your own country. Over time, facing of discrimination becomes part of our life. You learn to quietly adjust, to quietly avoid drawing attention, because who knows, you might be stabbed, you might be next Angel Chakma. But even in a city that should feel like a second home, you are reminded that your identity matter in ways it shouldn't have to. Seeing what had happened to Angel Chakma, I feel that the reality that students who came from Northeast face often goes unnoticed. This case is a reminder that respect, safety, and dignity should not depend on where someone comes from. Every student deserves to live and study without fear, and that is what we need to ensure.
Let me also bring in Hadungra Narzari into the conversation. Hadungra, I want to understand from you. You belong to the north. You're the northeast representative of the Delhi police. What are the sort of cases that come before you, and what is the seriousness with which those cases are treated?
To begin with, I would like to bring the 2014. So when that Spooner, the special police unit for Northeastern region is established. So there was the same case in 2014. He was a student from Arunachal. So the same case took place at that 2014. So I hope my fellow colleague, everyone knows about the case. So from that scenario, the Delhi police took up that sin as serious and established a spooner. And within a spooner, there is a one Delhi police Northeast representative, DPNR. I hope everyone knows about a DPNR, because DPNR is a one type of voluntary activities. So it involves students as well as working peoples who are from Northeast, who is studying or residing in Delhi. So the mostly the cases which we got from our students and from our communities, mostly uh, the similar some minor case mostly we got, and like human trafficking and all. But as far as this racism things is concerned, like mostly uh, if I say uh, those racism incidents not only took place with the students only, but even with us also, and even the senior, even the professors have also faced same kind of racism. Even one incident I would like to quote, and the complaint I got from the ma'am, she is teaching in the Delhi University College. So the students wrote in the Instagram in the comment like chinky Chinese like that. Even that kind of scenario also took place with our teachers also. So here, just okay, the government has took initiative and government has taken this seriously under the home ministry. The spooner is being established, but there are some issue that also need to be addressed. So some pending measures I would like to quote. First one is to strengthen our law to decrease or to make uh, situation more normalized for us or students who are living in Delhi and all. So first is enactment of anti-racial discrimination is law still pending. And second one is IPC section 153 and 509A should be there. And also establishment of Northeast Health Helpline special unit in major, not only in Delhi. So we have Northeast Cell in Delhi, but in other metro cities also, like Chandigarh, like the same case in took place in other state, like Northeast Cell Helpline, and this should be established in some major cities in India. And also inclusion of some Northeast history, culture in other schools. These are some awareness kind of things, and sensitization awareness program for the other part of the students uh, about the Northeast. So all these things mostly those are being taken up by Delhi police day by day, like from our Spooner also. So, but now the thing is that here I would like to also add one more interesting incident. So one day I was in the market. So the thing that the racism kind of the mockery kind of thing was very sophisticated nowadays. Because I was going to the market. So one of the even vendor, the cloth vendor, also from a backside, he told me, but he asked me about Hindi chini bhai bhai. So such kind of racism was very nowadays very sophisticated thing. But directly indirectly this is a racism thing. Right? It may not be hurt you, but the thing is that I was in that mixed reaction. So should I angry or should I love? That one thing, right? So so I reply. The problem is that our students can't reply in that moment directly. So there was some one thing, and if someone mostly that happens with our girls, if we see the most of the cases comes from our students, girls, women, and all.
Yes.
But if North Indian boys or men will mock or will come pass a comment, to North Indian girl, North Indian boy and North Indian girl. So someone pass a comment. At that time, she will reply. And that kind of scenario should be there. That scene should be created. ऐसा है कि कोई लड़का अगर कोई लड़की को छेड़ता है तो वहां से तुरंत रिप्लाई आना चाहिए. तो वो सीन हमारे उसमें नहीं है अभी भी. हमारे जो लड़कियां है दे काइंड ऑफ सम काइंड ऑफ ऐसा है कि मोटिवेशन हो या फिर इनर गट्स हो, वो स्टिल हमारे अंदर वो कमी है. सो वही हमें ऐसे स्टूडेंट, ऐसे पुलिस पर्सनल, ऐसे टीचर्स, ऐसे प्रोफेसर वो चीजें सीरियसली लेके हमारे जो गर्ल्स है, बॉयज है, उनको वी शुड मोटिवेट देम. So we are here with you all during that moment, during that मतलब क्या बोलते हैं उसको, during that incident. ऐसा चीजें हमें आपस में मिलके ऐसा एक environment create करना है कि but you have to reply them. You should not keep quiet. अगर आप चुप रहते हैं तभी आपको मोटिवेट हो, मतलब
Yes.
दूसरे बंदा वो मोटिवेट होके ही आपको बोलेंगे. So we have to know how to reply. वही है. और यही है कि हमारा तो जैसे मान लो स्पूनर 1093 का वी हैव वन हेल्पलाइन 1093. सो तुरंत ही वी हैव दैट 24/7 हमारा हेल्पलाइन we have. So if any problems happen, any incidents happen, so kindly dial through your media channel. I would like to tell that 1093 is our helpline number, so everyone can call in within a 24/7 direction be taken up. Now it's now they took up the case very seriously.
Okay.
अब पुनर होता है वो बहुत जल्दी तुरंत. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I just want to bring in a word from Hammer on this as well. Hammer, what would be your suggestions on how do we now make things better? And you've just heard what Mr. Narzari has also had to say. What more can you add to that? What would be your suggestions as far as protection is concerned, and also some sort of an attempt to really educate people is concerned?
So first of all, I think that racism or racialization continues or persists because it often goes unnoticed or unchallenged. But as they have highlighted, the co-discussants have highlighted that how do we challenge as a visible minority, how do we challenge racism? Do we also end up with the fate of Anjel or many others who have faced racial discrimination? So the burden lies on whom? Is it the victims? Is it the government? So this takes us back, as have already been discussed, to the 2014 case of Nido Tania, a 19-year-old from Arunachal Pradesh who was brutally murdered in broad daylight in a South Delhi market. So following public uproar, the government instituted the Besbura committee to investigate into the ways in which the northeastern community is in a precarious position in the metropolitan cities. The committee had submitted its findings. However, the central government had not acted upon it. It had submitted a wide range of small-term and short-term and long-term measures for countering discrimination of the northeastern communities in metropolitan cities. So this is the question that we must ask: that what are the measures that are being taken? As Mr. Narzari has highlighted, that in cities like Delhi, we do have some systems such as the Spooner, or we have the helpline number. But then what about cities like Dehradun? We might have it in other metropolitan tier 1 cities like Bangalore or Mumbai. But I think we should also call for to bring these systems into throughout the country, not just in the tier 1 cities, because students or northeastern people are spread across the country in cities such as Chandigarh, Dehradun, Lucknow. So we must think about that as well to widen the the network for the protection of Northeastern community.
Okay.
Uh, uh, it was quite disheartening to learn that Angel's last words were, "I am an Indian." The very fact that someone had to prove their citizenship, that their face is under scrutiny. So one thing is that we have been independent for 78 years now, and I think one of the reasons why people are not able to accommodate diverse phenotypical features uh, of, especially from people from Northeast India, is because there has been a lack of, I would say, education. We have not made people aware of diverse. In fact, we could, I mean, the education system should include the cultures, the history, the society, the polity of Northeast India into the curriculum of school education, so as that people from outside the Northeast India are aware of Northeast India's diverse, unique identities,
Yes.
which are in many ways different as well as similar to the rest of the country.
Okay, I want to leave the last word with Rahi. Rahi, I want your thoughts on this as well, and specifically also as a girl, because as Mr. Narzari also pointed out, that girls do sometimes suffer more, because sometimes you're in a very precarious situation where you want to speak up, but who knows who's your opponent at that point in time and what they might do, and therefore you just take a step back in such a situation. So, given your own experience, what can you share with our viewers? What are your thoughts on now? How do we move forward as a society? How do we fix what's happened?
When we talk about fixing such a situation, we have to move back to the basics. That is, we have to bring a change in our, there has to be a sense of inclusion to our education system, where the students are taught about Northeast and the rich cultural heritage, as well as the history of the Northeast, where the Ahom kingdom had defeated the Mughal for so many times, and there has to be enough education about that. And when it comes to talking about a girl's perspective, yes, it is a very sensitive situation, because when it happens to you at that moment, although you think that, yeah, I could have done this, I could have done that, but when it actually happens to you, you don't know how to react, because a person in that particular moment just freezes, and there is no reaction. And it takes some time to realize that, oh, this has happened to me, and maybe I could have reacted in such a way, because like you rightly mentioned, that at that time you don't know who your enemy is and how that person would react. So often, in such situations, you tend to freeze and there is no reaction per se. But it like Mr. Narzari has already mentioned, that we should be, we should make ourselves aware, and we should be strong enough to give them a befitting reply, that you cannot do this, whatever you are doing, this is very wrong. I can share a incident that has happened. A friend of mine who is from Mizoram, she joined my class, and then there were a few girls, and this case has happened where a few girls had in a way mocked her, that, oh, she's from China, she's from Chinese, she's a Chinese girl. And they said that when that girl from Mizoram was not in the room. And when I heard that, it affected me so much, and it kind of hit me very personally, because I am from Assam, and how can you say that to somebody who is from the Northeast, and she's such a good friend of mine? How can you say that about her when she's not in the room? How can you make such racist comments? And I made sure that I called them out on that, right in their faces, that whatever you are doing, this is very wrong. like I made sure that I made them aware that you cannot be so insensitive about somebody. And considering, how can you say that that person is from China? Like, just you don't, haven't you learned anything? Like, that's what I want to relate, that it has to go back to our basics, where we have to be taught that people need to be taught that about the importance of people from the Northeast. When when we talk about our contributions, when it in terms of sports and in many other areas, Northeast has contributed so much to the country. And why is this even a question? That, like Hamron already mentioned, that the last words of Angel were, "I am an Indian." Why was it the situation that he had to assert his identity? Have we not done enough for the country? Why has there been a situation where our identity has to be asserted?
Yes.
This is very sad. And I think it's high time that the country needs to realize and understand the position of the Northeastern people, and this has to begin with education. The CBSE syllabus and all the other curriculums need to integrate more information, more correct information about people from the northeastern cultures, because we are often viewed as somebody who live in the jungles or something like that, which is very wrong. Northeast is a very developed country of this area, of India. When they talk about tourism nowadays, very conveniently people scroll on Instagram and they see reels about how beautiful the flora and fauna is of Northeast. But do you know what is the what is the history behind it? There, I'm not sure. I don't
Yes.
think a lot of people know about that.
Absolutely. No,
So
you're
why
right
is it
about
so?
that. And I thank everyone for joining me tonight to have this conversation. Hopefully, when we have such conversations in the future, there'll be a better context to them, viewers. Because what can I say at this point? I will let our speakers tonight have the last word on this. With that, a very short break.